Okay, so now we're ready. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Jaltest webinars. Today's topic is going to be the introduction of the new 20.1 software version. This is the first one of the present year. As you know, we have in Jaltest a total of 3 scheduled updates during the year. But first of all, and before starting, we really hope that this webinar finds you and your loved ones, family, colleagues, friends, and so on, in a good health. From Kojali, we would like to send a message of encouragement to all of you, and we are convinced that altogether we can face and overcome these difficult times. Having said that, we're going to start. And as usual, you have the chat available in case you want to ask something. My colleague Isidro will be on the other side, okay? If your questions are more detailed or you want to, I don't know, to spend more time with us, you may also send an email or give us a call. In the last slide of the presentation, you will have the contact information. And for all of you that wants to review the webinar in a different moment, or for all of you that are not here today, you couldn't make it, it will be also uploaded to our YouTube channel, and also you will be able to check in the videos are in the website. Okay. So this is going to be the agenda for today's webinar. So first of all, we're going to pay attention to the software innovations, and then we will jump into the main features, coverage, and so on in the different models in Jaltest. So starting by commercial vehicles, and then highway and agricultural vehicles and equipment. During the webinar, we will not only list the new features and developments included, but also we will tell you or explain what are they for and what is the main added value that they have. So we're going to start with the software innovations. That there are a lot actually. Okay, during this this version, in comparison with the latest ones. So here, what do we have? We have a new design. Okay, probably the first and most notorious change you're going to find in this version, whenever you update it, is the new look or the new design of the software. From a visual point of view, you will find something more elegant, more modern, and with brighter colors. But of course, there are many other changes than the visual ones. These ones are going to improve the software capabilities, and overall, they're going to make the navigation much easier and more intuitive. We will talk about all these changes in a few seconds. Also, in this new version, the software is going to work faster than the previous ones. The run times and the installation times have been improved in about 40 or 50%. And of course, and as the result of the great effort made by our engineering and development team, this new version comes with new makes, new models, new systems, more troubleshooting guides, wiring diagrams, and so on. Then, and in addition to all these innovations related to the software, we also have important improvements to announce on the hardware side. As you probably know at this point, the new B9 communication link is going to be released very soon. So if you want to know more in detail about this new B9 communication link, please stay connected to our social media and the video section in the website, okay? So we're going to start talking about the new changes, or the changes in the graphic interface. So from this version, it will be possible to define the screen resolution, the text side, as well as other elements of the application. Also, there is an option to adjust the application size to the resolution of the selected screen in the PC. More things. The connections associated to a system are listed on the left, okay, you can see here. The connection instructions remained always visible. And in general, navigating through the different images and pictures is now easier than in previous version. More new things. the classification of the main types of actions when connected to a system. This is going to allow you to know quickly the coverage of a system. Now all these options are shown with bigger buttons in the center of the screen. This is one of the main changes in the graphic side, as you will notice as soon as you start using this new version. And also the action searcher in the top of the screen has been improved. In previous versions, the system actions were visible by expanding to the right. Now they are organized in 3 diagrams that drop down. This way the actions stay grouped together in folders. And also, if you realize, the diagnostic function is always available on the right side, the right bar, through the button with the corresponding icon here. Okay. Whenever we perform a vehicle system scan and select diagnostics menu in the left, a menu with different options is expanded. Like for instance, frequent test, operation data, maintenance resets, and so on. Well, this menu can be opened or closed by using or by clicking on this button that you can see here into the red circle. If we close it, we're obtaining an additional space for a better visualization of the information that we have in the screen. In this case, what we're going to have is the overview of the different models and present fault codes in the vehicle. Exactly the same is going to happen in the troubleshooting screen. First, you can use this button here, this arrow, to increase or reduce the size of the screen. And also, you have here in the bottom the possibility to decide if you want to show or you want to hide all the check marks in the different procedure steps. Okay. As a result, you take a look here in the right side, the center of the screen. All the information remains in the center, and you have more space to better visualize all the different steps in the troubleshooting. Also, we have other functionalities that have been added, okay, on top of that. Like for instance, the countdown timer in procedure steps and troubleshooting guides. Also, we have included more features in repair times and different filters across the software for the search of measurements and components. Then, before going through the innovations in the GRP, the Garage Resource Planning module, let me please explain very quickly the main functionalities of this module, because it is possible that some of the people watching us right now still don't know that this is useful, that this useful tool was included into the software. So basically, the GRP is a workshop management program which organizes the activity in the shop. The management of customers, vehicles, diagnostic and maintenance reports, or the creation of work orders are some of the main functionalities that you're going to find here. And also, one of the cool things is that all these database generated over the time stays on the cloud. Therefore, it is possible to synchronize different devices located in different locations and share all this information among them. Having said that, from this 20.1 version, it will be possible for the user to send reports to different email addresses. Like for instance, if you want to send a report to a customer, it will be possible, okay? Actually, the user will be able to customize as many fields as desired, such as the text, the date, and the drop-down fields. And also, you will be able to customize the email subject and some other options. Okay, so we have already finished with the software innovations, and we're going to jump into the commercial vehicles and the new things that have been added. Okay. We're going to start with the heavy-duty vehicles, and we're going to walk through the different manufacturers, highlighting or focusing the most relevant improvements now. So in Allison, we have included repair times for most of the procedures, as well as more than 10 new component replacement guides on the 1000, 2000, and also 3000, 4000 transmission series. And concerning repair times, it is important to mention that this functionality was added in the previous version, in the 19.3 of the software, after many of the users were requesting it. If in the previous version we had information related to the repair times only in one system, in the engine, in this 20.1 version, the coverage has increased. And right now we have repair times information available for the three main systems: engine, brakes, and transmissions. The idea here is to keep adding information and systems during the next versions. At this moment, this repair times database is one of the most complete in the market, and all this information, of course, is comparable to information from the manufacturers. So you have an interesting source here, an interesting tool here that you can use. BENDIKs. The main innovation in the detailed information about the calibration and installation procedures of the driver assistance camera that you will find in the ADAS system, the Advanced Driver Assistance System. As you probably know, some elements require an easy calibration in these systems. However, there are others of higher complexity. For all of those, we have TSVs that explain step by step how to, for instance, place the frame, how to place the measuring scales, the targets, and so on. And also what actions need to be carried out in each step of the calibration process. Also, the addition of the repair times into the repair times information on the ABS tractor systems in the EC17, EC30, EC60, and EC80. Caterpillar, we have added more than 100 new component replacement guides and more repair times information on the EPA 98, 04, and 07 engines. Cummins, we got new systems such as the QSG12, a tier final 4 stage 4 engine, which is utilized for wide variety of applications. Also, the backdoor password has been added in more systems. This is useful for accessing the systems whenever we don't have the password that let us get into the system. For instance, this might happen when drivers forget about the passwords or in the second-hand vehicles. Also, we have multiplexing parameters, a super advanced functionality that pretty much allows the user to program the hardwiring of the system. For instance, let's say that the brake system signal is coming from the pin number 2, but for some reason we want to change it and to put it into the pin number 7. So this is something that is going to be possible through the multiplexing, and it's going to be available in many engines of different series. So for instance, here in the picture, in the right side, you can see that for the accelerator interlock switch, you can change the state from enable to disable, and also for the same accelerator interlock switch, you can switch the SA35 to any other, or here you have expanded so that you can see the different possibilities in this case for the force regeneration switch. Okay. More things in Cummins. New features that have been added to the X15, like the DEF system, as well as the new diagrams indicating the operation stage. Or in the ISL 9, we have troubleshooting guides to check the high and low pressure fuel system, the common rail fuel return, or the high pressure fuel system leaks. Now we jump into the Troy diesel. This update brings coverage for 2020 vehicles and some interesting bidirectional controls, like for example, the DPF region at low temperature. This type of region is interesting here because it requires a lower fuel consumption and a lower stress in the filter, something that at the end of the day is going to expand the filter's life. Also, more possibilities to change parameters such as the idle speed, idle shutdown, and so on. And like in CUMMINS, DEF diagrams by stage, like priming, metering, and purge. Then also in the Detroit diesel, more improvements, the addition of the component replacement guide for most components on the DT12 transmission, or repair times and technical data for the EPA 9804 engines. Then on the Mercedes-Benz 900 EPA 07 engine, the coverage related to the power takeoff parameters has been expanded, and more repair times and troubleshooting guides have also been included in this version. Then for EATON, and more specifically for the TECU Gen 3 and Endurance transmissions, the available database of repair times and component replacement guides has also been increased. Then, regarding MACK and VOLVO, the most relevant improvements will be the addition of troubleshooting guides for the EMS V3 engines, as well as the new bidirectional function that allow the calibration of the transmission when this is unmounted. And this type of calibration, as you can imagine, will save many hours of work to the technicians. Then for MERITOR WABCO, we have some interesting tests for the trailer ABS 1M with RSS plus basic, and the trailer ABS 2M with RSS plus. Like for example, the new end-of-the-line test, which is going to allow the technician to check the operation of components installed in the system, speed sensors, modulators, warning lamps, etc., by using different tests. This is important since it is something that should be carried out after reprogramming the control unit. On top of that, from this version, it will be available to calibrate the head sensor present in these systems. Then, talking about NAVISTAR International, what is new here? Well, for the A26GHG17, we're going to find new live data values in the after treatment system and DEF diagrams by stage, like priming, like we can see in the picture in the right, metering, and purge. And yes, as in previous brands, we also have more repair times for the most common procedures. For the Max Force EPA 07 and 10 engines, we got new bidirectionals like the PTO and remote PTO parameters, and also more diagrams, replacement guides, and repair times for other engines such as the DLC in series EPA 13 or the MWM Euro 5. Then we talk about PACCAR and the new things on this manufacturer. Here you're going to find new cabin models and bidirectional controls. Also, there has been an improvement in the database of the most common fault codes registered in the main systems. We talk about the engine, transmission, and after treatment systems. PSI, Here we have new coverage for new LPG and gasoline engines. In this 20.1 version, these engines are more or less at the 90% of development, but in the 20.2 version, they will be at the 100%. Then talking about the transmission manufacturers, we're going to see some specific developments, like for instance, the system displays used in the transmissions for buses with ZF and VOTH transmissions. Once we cover the heavy duty stuff, now we're gonna see what is new in the light commercial vehicles. For example, we are gonna have new Ram models, new engine coverage for the Ford F-150, and also some specific calibrations on the Mercedes-Benz. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, we have already concluded the commercial vehicles model, and now it is time to get into the new stuff added on the off-highway and agricultural vehicles and equipment side. So for all of you that are working with this type of equipment and therefore are not interested in this information which is coming, I would like to say thank you for your time and thank you for your attention. Also remember that today's webinar will be published on the YouTube channel as well as in the video section in our websites, on both coyaliusa.com and jaltest.com. And of course, in case you have any questions, comments, etc. about this presentation or about any other thing, please contact our customer support team. Just send us an email to customersupport@jaltest.com or give us a call. At the end of the presentation, I will show you the number. So there we are. And now it's time to move into the innovations on the off-highway brands and models of the new version. So we have added Schaef, a German brand which is specialized in compact construction machinery. In total, 3 series and 12 models between excavators, compact excavators, and wheel loaders. Then the Case construction equipment brand has been reorganized by families and models. Before it was reorganized, it was organized by families and anti-pollution regulations. With this new type of organization, we're sure that the user will be able to identify their models on an easier way. Okay, so in total, we're going to have 22 new families and 135 different models. Then version after version, we keep adding more and more technical information and wiring diagrams to this model, making it more complete every day. So especially for the main manufacturers on the market, like Caterpillar and Volvo, and also, of course, the different types of machinery. The same also applies to the system displays of different models in different pieces of equipment. Like for example, this one that you have in the screen belongs to the TMC transmission system in a 900 series wheel loader from Caterpillar. You can see here in these displays, you will find live information of different values or measurements provided by the different sensors and components. You can check speeds, pressures, temperatures, and so on. As we did before with commercial vehicles, we're going to go now manufacturer by manufacturer and highlighting the main improvements and innovations that this new 21 version is bringing us. So from this version, it is available a new cable, the JDC 546A, for the connection and calibration of the ZF ERGOPOWER transmission. Okay, this transmission is going to be in many pieces of equipment regarding construction. Then for BOBCAT equipment with DOOSAN DL02 and DL03 engines, we have added to our catalog a new connector, the JDC 547A, which is going to allow the technician, through a direct connection, the performance of new bidirectional controls like the injector coding. Until now, if we wanted to go, we wanted to connect to the engine in these engines, these DOOSAN engines, we had to use the multi-pins connection. So now, in total, we have two different BOBCAT cables that will give us access to the control of the full machinery. Then for Caterpillar, very important to mention the development made in terms of hydraulics for motor graders. From this version, it will be possible to carry out the calibration of every one of the solenoid valves of the implements. In total, there are 14 new calibrations. All these calibrations are necessary every time that these sensors or valves are changed, replaced, or installed. Then the CNH Construction Equipment Group, in the EDC 17C489 control system of FTP engines, we will find the new system checks related to the after treatment module, like for instance, the AdBlue or DEF leak control, the AdBlue DEF metering pump, etc., as well as some other new maintenance options. The CNH CA group, again, probably one of the main improvements in this group is going to be the development of new maintenances, like the reset of the pressure relief valve, PRV, which we will find in many models of Case and New Holland equipment. And this capability is very important because there is a counter for the number of valve openings, and this valve has a determined useful life. And when it reaches the end, it must be replaced and set this counter to a 0. So to have the chance to calibrate or to reset this valve is going to be important here. Some examples of machinery with this valve are, for instance, the Case 5218, 1G, sorry, and the Case 621G. The DOOSAN, if in BOBCAT and ZF transmissions we have released a new cable, for DOOSAN we will do the same with a new connector, the JDC 545A. As you probably know, one of the main singularities of highway world is that pretty much every manufacturer has its own cable or connectors. So to have the chance to get all these cables directly from us is a good thing to let you know. Also, some bidirectional controls for the DL03 and DL06 engines have been added. And Hitachi, with the MC central computer system, we will be able to set parameters of excavators implements. In John Deere, we must mention the new systems added for backhoe loaders, like for instance, the instrument cluster display or the central computer. And also the timer setting of automatic stops of the engine at idle speed rates through the central computer of backhaul loaders. For Volvo wheel loaders, now it will be possible the calibration of the transmission, which in this case is done through the vehicle electronic control unit. This is something new of this version. It was not possible to do it before. Once we have seen the main innovations across the different manufacturers of construction equipment, let's summarize some of the most relevant improvements related to the stationary engines. So in Deutsch, we are going to find new parameters like the setting of the idle speed rate for the control system of the EM-R4 EDC 17 CV52 engine. And in Perkins, for the engine model 854F, we have added new bidirectional tests like the cylinder cutout, as well as many other actions related to the after treatment. And now we're already entering into the final part of the presentation with the introduction of the main innovations and developments made on the agricultural vehicles and equipment. So when it comes to new brands, we must mention here three new additions: Kioti, BOBCAT, and Iseki, which are working mainly with tractors, harvesters, and telescopic wheeler loaders. Then regarding new models, especially important to mention the M series in KUBOTA, 4, M5, M5N, and M6, as well as the Vario and Fast Track series in FENT or the JXU in CASE. A part of these previous ones, in the 20.1 version, there are many new models of different manufacturers, like for instance, Challenger, Deutsch, Landini, Massey Ferguson, etc. A few minutes ago, we have seen how the off-highway model is every day more and more complete, talking about technical information. Well, the same is happening in the agricultural version of the software. Some of the manufacturers in which we have included more wiring diagrams and technical information are, for instance, Case, Class, Fendt, John Deere, New Holland, Steyr, and Valtra. And additionally, we have also added maintenance and technical data in the KUBOTA engines. In total, 17 KUBOTA engines, as well as troubleshooting guides and procedures for John Deere manufacturer. Last but not least, let's check the new features and actions in different manufacturers and systems. The ones in CNH Group are the same ones that we saw before in the off-highway side, because they are shared. Therefore, with your permission, I'm going to skip this one to not be repetitive with the information provided. Okay, now in FENT, we got new bidirectional controls, like new parameters on the CV52 Deutsch engine that we just saw before, talking about stationary engines, or more new configuration parameters in the EOL7 vehicle configuration control system, like for instance, spool valves, front and rear lifts, PTOs, etc. In GCB, we can find new calibrations for the models included in the Fast Track 8000 series. And in John Deere, very important, the maintenance controls in machinery with Janmar engines, like for instance, the region of the DPL filter. Also, the coverage in John Deere improves with the addition of new hydraulic and transmission modules in the 5R and 5 and 6R models. In KUBOTA, we have developed new bidirectional controls too for both engine and after treatment systems. You can have new actuations, system checks, and also parameters. Then for MASSEY FERGUSON, we're going to find new features in the instrument cluster as well as in the hydraulic lift. And regarding Valtra, the calibration of the suspension system, it has also been included in this 20.1 version. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be all for today. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining to this webinar. We really hope that you enjoy this new version. As always, we're at your disposal for any question you may have, or in case you need support for the installation or the update of the version. Here you have the let me see. Here you have the phone number and also the email address where you can write us or you can call us at any time. So thank you very much, and please stay connected to our social media and YouTube channel so that you are up to date about all the new things that we are releasing every day. Thank you very much and have a very nice day. Bye-bye.